I'm Tim Duck and I'm here on my property at Currawong, New South Wales, just near Collector, which is just outside of Canberra. I'm doing some ongoing work to improve the biodiversity value of our property here. We're just a small property, bush block, a bunch of eucalyptus, wattle, various flora and fauna around the place. One of our strategies has been to install some nest boxes. So this property was cleared several decades ago. We have lots of regenerating bushland, plenty of trees, probably thousands of trees on our 10 hectare block, but most of them are young. And when I say young, as in a few decades old, as opposed to 100 plus years old. There's only really a few trees on the property that are old. And so along with that, it means that we don't really have many hollows in trees that are suitable as habitat for some of our bigger animals. Hollows in trees tend to form in bigger, older trees. And unfortunately here in Australia, we've cleared a lot of those for agriculture or for forestry or for development, etc. So the sort of nest boxes that I put in last year, I placed in 2 wooden nest boxes that I created for one for sugar gliders and one for ringtail possums, which we have both of those on the property. The more recent nest boxes that I've installed are 3 cockatoo nesting boxes, which are quite large nesting boxes. They're designed for a glossy black cockatoo. Those 3 nest boxes are made from 300mm diameter PVC pipe and are over 1 metre in length. So they're quite large, quite heavy, and they're strung up high up in a tree in hopefully suitable positions for our birds to want to move in. The nest boxes went up in the last month or 2, and I've only been monitoring casually so far. I did notice that we do have some white looking scats or poos underneath one of the nesting boxes, which makes me think that something has at least taken an interest in checking it out. So I've now got in place a wildlife camera to monitor that a little bit closely over the next little period to see whether we have any activity in there. One of the other areas I'm trying to address is that we have this area here underneath the power lines, which has been cleared. And there isn't much vegetation, so we can't have large trees obviously in here. But as a result of this clearing, we've got all these bare patches and we've got the sifton bush, which are coming up and starting to colonise and take over. Now, sifton bush, it's a Cassinia acuata. They're a native, and so I don't want to necessarily get rid of them completely. However, if left unchecked, they can turn into really thick impenetrable scrub. And so I'm just trying to make a situation where we've got some other vegetation in here rather than allowing the Cassinia to overtake the place and it just be impenetrable scrub basically. So along with these bare patches of ground that we have a bit of an erosion issue because there's nothing holding the topsoil, what little topsoil we have here on the top of the hill, but there's very little holding it from running down the hill along with the water at speed when we get good rainfall. And we've created a bit of a slowly building gully situation down what was this old path or road. And so I just want to do some things to slow down the water to try and keep the organic matter up on the hill so that then that builds up, creates a better environment for growth for other vegetation, and then that keeps the carbon here in the ground, makes a more fertile area. The water should soak in better, and we're just building a healthier environment to build up some more biodiversity over time. So it will take a little while, but the plan is basically to make some small contours of sorts. It's not about channeling water per se, but it's more about slowing the water down so that it soaks in. So that's going to be using some fallen down timber from in the forested area, perhaps some straw and hay, perhaps some of the Cassinia and other bush vegetation stuff that we have around, just to create a bit of an organic matter barrier or small barriers down as we come down the hill. Then I'm going to plant some more plants and I'm going to focus on a couple of varieties that already exist here. So one is the Lomandra longifolia. As we can see up there, we've got some examples, and wallaby grass, a red anther wallaby grass as well, which we have around the place up in here. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing a lot of work in this area, and I'll take some video to show you what we've been doing.